I think at a certain point in time, they must be aware.
And if they're aware, they're evil.
They're trapped. They're trapped. Because I think initially most people did think that things were going to work.
And it doesn't have to be, it can be anything. But once you're pushing out information that you know to be false,
right,
and you're potentially hurting people,
right,
it doesn't have to be vaccines, it could be anything.
Right now, you're evil.
That's evil.
That's evil.
Joe Rogan has been on an absolute rampage recently with his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. And today we have this clip here from Chief Nerd that says Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz on how legacy media experts, in quotes, have been exposed over the past few years. We're just assuming these people are truth tellers. They're not. We're assuming they're even journalists. They're not. Some of them are good, or some of them are, but most of them are just talking heads, just people who are good at reading. Not only that, we are sure they are highly motivated by money and no one is listening. That's what's crazy. The thing is, if it's not for a few brave people that stand up and tell you the truth, if there's no Peter McCullough, if there's no Robert Malone, if there's no RFK Jr., if there's no Pierre Corey, if there's none of these people that stand up and lose a sizable portion of their income, their careers get destroyed, their reputations get dragged through the mud, hit pieces get written about them. If it wasn't for these people that stand up and do that, it's wild. And I have to fully agree. Let me know in the comments if you also agree. We're going to play this clip here in 1 second from Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz talking about these woke media outlets and how they're brainwashed, and I believe them to be paid off. We look at shows like The View with Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin in them. I don't understand. I don't think that there's any fans of that show out there. So I don't understand, unless they are being paid off by someone to stay on air, I don't know how they're still on air, because that show cannot be profitable. It is not possible for that show to be profitable. Anyway, let's get into this clip here between Andrew Schulz and Joe Rogan, where they're going off on the woke cult and going off on woke media in general. Let's check this out.
Well, enough kids listen to podcasts, which is what really bothers people, that they're getting their information from people like us.
Well, they have to.
People like us don't have to lie.
Yeah.
We have zero incentive to lie.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about these things, like, this is what I know.
Yeah.
These are the facts. This is real. You're being fucked. You're being lied to. And it's not like there's not a motivation.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of money they're making by fucking you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a...
Yeah, and it's crazy because people like Joe Rogan, like he's saying right here, Joe Rogan has zero incentive to lie. I did a video on Cenk Uygur. I don't know if you've seen it already or not, but Cenk Uygur on the Patrick Bet David podcast was saying that Joe Rogan is motivated by money and by viewership. So he is lying to his audience and stating that he has certain positions because he wants money and viewership, which makes absolutely no sense, because I'm pretty sure Spotify gave Joe Rogan over $100 million to be on their platform exclusively for a while, and he took it. So, I mean, he has at least $100 million, probably a lot more than that. He has zero reason to lie. He has all the money that he could ever want, and he has no reason to lie for viewership. Like, come on, man. Joe Rogan doesn't even create custom thumbnails on YouTube. The guy doesn't care about viewership. He cares about having important and valuable and entertaining conversations. And that's it. And what a freeze frame by me. I'm great at doing the freeze frame thing on Joe Rogan. I'm sorry, Joe.
Insane sum of money that's involved in a lot of these decisions, and these decisions roll on whether or not we complain or not, but at least it kind of puts things in check.
Maybe that's the solution. Just show how much money people are making.
I think at a certain point in time they must be aware,
and if they're aware, they're evil.
They're trapped. They're trapped because I think initially most people did think that things were going to work,
and it doesn't have to be. It can be anything. But once you're pushing out information that you know to be false,
right,
and you're potentially hurting people, it doesn't have to be vaccines. It could be anything.
Right now, you're evil.
That's evil.
That's evil. Yeah.
I don't fault someone who's maybe ignorant or a useful idiot or really passionate about a thing, but the person that knows and still puts it out.
But you have plausible deniability because you're using the opinion of the air quotes experts that are sanctioned, and so they will tell you things, and you will say.
Yeah, they're evil, bro. Like, there's no, like, we don't have to make any excuses for them. We don't have to say they're possibly useful idiots. Let me know in the comments. I mean, some people out there are probably useful idiots, but there's been so many moments that were caught on hot mic. Like, we've seen Joy Reid, we've seen people from The View caught on hot mic and basically saying, like, I understand what I'm saying is either number one, dumb, number two, misinformation, and then they go back and they blame Joe Rogan and podcasts like his for their misinformation, when Joe Rogan has zero incentive to spread misinformation at all. And Joe Rogan, to be honest with you, is probably much more well-informed than, and I'm not even some huge Joe Rogan fan, I'm just trying to be as objective as possible here. Joe Rogan is probably much more well-informed than a lot of these people who are taking their info directly from the quote-unquote experts. Because Joe Rogan has conversations with people very, very often that are these experts. And he gets these conversations from all different points of view, from non-experts, from experts, from left-wing people, from right-wing people, from experts who are on the left and experts who are on the right, from experts who agree with the other experts and experts who are outcast and black sheep from the other experts. Like, he gets all these different perspectives. So I would trust Joe Rogan's judgment and Joe Rogan's opinion a lot more than the journalists out there who get their opinion from these quote unquote experts. And they are evil because they know what they're doing. They're doing it for a check, for a paycheck, all of them.
Say things, and you will read articles that support that, and you will go, oh, this is a fact.
Not if you're motivated by the agenda of your sponsors. Like, if you know that you have to have a certain opinion on the platform, and that opinion is based on the people who are paying to sponsor the show, you are aware.
But that's also supported by these experts.
But we can find experts for anything.
Since you're not an expert.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
And you're just a talking head on CNN.
Yeah.
Your job is to say, but do you understand that the CDC has disagreed?
Yeah.
The FDA has said this is not approved.
Yeah.
The NIH has shown to various studies this is not correct.
Yeah.
And you can say that, and you'd be accurate.
Yeah.
You would be accurate as the news person on CNN that's telling a lie.
You have your justifications so you can go home and sleep at night.
And by the way, this isn't just on the left wing. The right wing does this too. We're seeing what's happening with the Daily Wire situation right now. Guarantee there's other people within the Daily Wire that want to go down the same line of questioning as Candace Owens did, but they can't do it. Because if they do it, then the same thing that happened to Candace Owens will happen to them. So it's the same. Like, there are other people who know within the Daily Wire, I guarantee it, that what Candace Owens is saying with the line of questioning that she is going down, that Ben Shapiro fired her for, they also think that same way, but they're staying quiet because they don't want to get fired. It's the same thing. They're doing it for a check. I see no difference in it. I think those people are just as evil. You know, they should call out the truth. Maybe it's not as bad as like it's specific examples that Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz are giving, but I still see it as evil. You know,
a lot of them don't even do any digging. They're there to do their job. They read the teleprompter. They're fucking gambling on sports betting or something. Who knows what the fuck they're doing with their spare time? But we're just assuming these people are truth tellers. They're not. We're assuming they're even journalists. They're not. Some of them are, but most of them are just talking heads. They're just pretty people that are good at reading.
That's the transition that we're going through right now. Is just because someone is giving us information on a news platform with a ticker does not mean that they know anything that they're talking about. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily true.
Not only that, we are sure they are highly motivated by money.
Yeah.
Highly motivated. Sponsored by money, put in position by money. The commercials, it's all money, 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 making that money. Yeah. And no one's listening. That's what's crazy.
But isn't that a beautiful thing?
It is a beautiful thing.
That means the people.
It is a beautiful thing, but it also means that they're outside fund. They're funded by people who aren't the people who are watching them. Like, most of the time you think, and rightfully so, it's reasonable to believe if everybody just stops watching the news, then they should go away, right? But that's not how it works, because they're funded by people who have agendas. And as long as those people who are on the news are spreading certain propaganda and spreading certain narratives that goes along with those agendas that the people who are funding them have, they will continue to be on air, which is an even scarier thought than thinking they're just evil. They're doing it for a check. They're playing into their audience because they want more views. They don't even care about the views. Literally, all they care about is spreading a certain message and spreading that propaganda, furthering that agenda so that those checks keep coming from their overlords. That's a lot more scarier than just wanting views on YouTube or something. You know,
people know, and the people will seek out the information that they deem truthful. Yes, there's going to be some wackos that seek out the most extreme versions. Yes, that's us sometimes because it's really fun. I want to indulge in all the conspiracies. It's awesome.
It's fun.
But at the end of the day, when I have to make a real decision, I'm going to seek out the information. I'm going to read as many things as possible. If it's my life on the line or my kid's life on the line, my friend's life on the line, I'm going to actually go out there and figure it out. Hopefully.
And the thing is, if it's not for a few brave people that stand up and tell you the truth, how do you, if there's no Peter McCullough, if there's no Robert Malone.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
If there's no RFK Jr.
Malone is if
there's no Pierre Corey. If there's none of these people that stand up and lose like a sizable portion of their income, their careers get destroyed, their reputations get dragged through the mud, hit pieces get written about them. If it wasn't for these people that stand up and do that, and I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that I would get sucked into that.
What do you mean?
I never thought that I would get sucked into something like that where people would be like lying about me. But when you watch it, like on CNN,
that's
just
a function of power, dude.
Out lying. But it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it for coming after him a lot. Used to be like the easy target nowadays where they're, you know, like I said, we have people like Cenk Uygur who are calling him a right winger when he's very obviously not, and has said multiple times, and I think he's changed his mind on this over the years, but he's even said multiple times that Donald Trump is not welcomed on his podcast, you know, and I think he would probably do it nowadays because his ideas have shifted. He's seen how just insane the left is and how much misinformation is spread, not just about Joe Rogan, but about other people like Donald Trump. You know, there's so much misinformation out there, so many hit pieces out there that Joe Rogan is waking up to. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about what Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz had to say about these woke media experts out there. Like I said, Joe Rogan's on an absolute rampage, and I love to see, you know, the platform as large as Joe Rogan go down this line of thinking, go down this line of questioning. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this clip. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hope to see you guys on the next one.